see now. Papa got beats, make it hit my come down. Oh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. I'ma have to cut you out, like right now. You see, I don't have to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke something. Try the marijuana. I was never you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they finished change. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip. Yeah, you plenty.
Welcome to the Seahawks Man-to-Man podcast, powered by Blue Wire. Shout out to the new company. My name is Michael-Shawn You guys know where to follow me on whatever that app is that Elon Musk is running these days. My @ name on there has not changed. At Mike Dugar is MikeDugar. Appreciate all you guys on there. Thank you to everyone who is either watching or listening on our YouTube channel. Seahawks Man-to-Man is the name of the channel. That's Seahawks Man, the number 2, man. All my audio people, go over to YouTube real quick, hit like, subscribe, and just come right back. We appreciate the love, all the support, even if you're not even someone who watches or listens via YouTube. It just helps us out a great deal. So thank you. Chris, go ahead and talk to him.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Christopher Kid. You can follow me on Twitter at CKIDD206, and that is CKid206. And yes, tap in on YouTube. Mike already explained it. You ain't got to hear me redo it. So yes, subscribe. On the road to 4K. So let's get there before the start of training camp. So that's what? 3 months, basically. I mean, we're at the end of April. So because the draft is coming up, but nonetheless, yes, go subscribe Seahawks Man-to-Man on YouTube. Appreciate all the love and support, fellas, ladies as well.
Oh, yeah, about to say, don't leave out our female listeners. I know we have them. So
yes.
Yes. Shout
from
out
the Twitter questions, we see it all.
I wear a bracelet every day that says Women Ball 2. Shout out to the Women Ball 2 company.
Yep, can't wait till Destin's playing flag football. It's gonna be great.
Oh yeah. They're legalizing that. Legalizing, it's not weed, but I feel like legalizing is the term. They're making flag football like a sanctioned. There's a word there. It's just like sanctioned or official like sport in the state of Washington for girls. I just don't know.
Yep.
Legalized seems a little weird. I shouldn't use that. Anyway, we'll get discussion for another day. But as Chris alluded to, it is draft week. Woo! It's here finally. We've consulted all the experts. We've done all the research. We have poured over Dane Brugler's Beast Draft Guide, which is out on The Athletic. Shout out to Dane. He did it again. Super, super great. We'll talk to Dane after the draft. But with all that research done, it is mock draft time. We've gathered. We know who we like, who we don't like, who we want the Seahawks to take, who we think they should take, yada, yada, yada. So we're going to get in our mock drafts today. This is our last show before the actual start of the draft on Thursday. But before we get into our mocks, I love this topic that I want to start with, and it is Picturegate. If you have been following Seahawks world the last week and a half or whenever this kicked off, it's been a very interesting topic. And I'm referring to Mike Macdonald, the new head coach, his removal of the it's hard to describe for people who haven't been in there. But like when you walk into the Virginia Mason Athletic Center and you're walking, there's like a long hallway that takes you on your right is the indoor practice facility. And if you keep going all the way down the hallway, you get into the locker room. On your right during that long walk are these just massive, and you can see them in some of the photos in the past. They are just these massive, like ceiling to floor photos, basically. Not full floor, but you get it. Just massive murals of some of the greatest moments in franchise history. They're all from the Pete Carroll era, but that's the best era in franchise history. You get stuff like, let's see how many I can remember off the top of my head. We got a Doug touchdown catch against the Niners in 2012 on Sunday Night Football. There's a Ricardo Lockett catch against the Broncos in there. Bobby screaming with joy or anger or whatever after he intercepts Brady in Super Bowl 49. There's a Jermaine Kearse one in there from the NFC title game. There's Russ. I think Russ crying after that NFC title game against the Packers is in there too. There's a Cam picture in there. I think Cam's a punch out, maybe the Megatron punch out. I think Earl is the karate chop on Benny Cunningham of the Rams. What else are we missing? There's a KJ one in there, but it's pretty like random. There's like just a random tackle.
Is Sherman the tip in there?
I believe Sherm picture, like everyone's represented. So I think Sherm's picture is the tip. I think there's a Cliff Averill photo in there somewhere.
Marshawn holding his junk, diving into an end zone.
Yes, Marshawn's represented through the Beastquake, and I believe Cliff is represented tackling Drew Brees, maybe sacking Drew Brees. I want to say in the 2013 playoff game. I think that's everybody. We may be missing some. Oh, and then Paul Allen with the trophy, and Pete and John, in MetLife in 2013. So I'm pretty sure I think that's all of them. So
You're gonna kill yourself trying to remember all this.
And it sucks because I've been at the VMAC, but I haven't been back there. We only get to go back there when we watch practice or go to the locker room, which that doesn't happen until the the regular season. So I haven't been back there. So I'm kind of just guessing. But anyway, Mike Macdonald took all those down. The wall is blank. I think there's been some pictures, but people who've been back there pretty much confirmed the wall's blank. Also, it sounds like Mike Macdonald has taken down some of the slogans and signs that were up around the building. Some of those aren't as popular, but like, for instance, above the doorways, it either says "I'm in" or "All in." I can't really remember, but you'd have to tap the sign when you go in. Any doorway.
Pretty sure it was "All in."
It was "All in." I don't know why I thought it was "I'm in." I think I've tweeted and reported "I'm in." I got that wrong. But honestly,
maybe, I don't remember either.
It doesn't matter because it's gone now. So it sounds like those things are taken away. If you were to go in the back by like the equipment room, they'd be like turnover Thursday, some of the rules of the program, always compete Wednesday. There's something on Friday. I think no repeat Friday maybe is another one. Tell the truth Monday, obviously. There'll just be stuff all over the building, they're all Pete-isms. It sounds like all those are gone too. Right. So a lot of visceral reactions to this. But before we get to some of those, I want to have John Schneider, because we haven't heard from Mike Macdonald. So we're just going to hear John Schneider explain some of the thinking behind doing this. This video and this audio is courtesy of Seattle Sports 710 radio station. John doing his weekly appearance on Wyman and Bob, I believe. Yeah, with Bob Sutton and Dave Wyman on, I think this is last week. But anyway, here's John explaining Picturegate.
Was it something you've been thinking of?
No, just total, look, right outside the team room to the indoor facility.
Yeah.
A lot of, pictures and, slogans from, from Pete's, tenure here, like all the stuff we did together the last, 14 years. Awesome. But celebrating our history is like all over this building. Mm-hmm. And so we're actually going a little more digital too. So we're going to have, these things are like kind of falling apart off the walls here and stuff too. So we're going more digital. We're going to have TVs up. I was talking to Chuck about it this morning, actually. Like TVs up and just kind of like celebrating the Dave Wyman tackles, if you will, or the face masks in the hole, or, the Kurt Warner runs and the Sean Alexanders and the Coach Holmgrens and the Coach Carrolls and the whole thing. But right when you walk around the corner from the indoor facility, I mean, we have, the plates of every player that's played here and the pictures from all the guys, like more recent guys and all that. So, and really in Mike's mind, it's kind of a, hey, like, we're celebrating our history, guys, get that. Like, but we're going to make up our own. We're not coming in here with like certain slogans and, leadership mottos and that sort of thing. We're going to build our own as a team. And so I think the players really embraced it. And, listening to Leo the other day, I thought he said it great. Like, hey, we're totally going to respect the past and everything that's happened here. And, we just got to move forward. So I've been in Green Bay and Kansas City and the Redskins. So you see, I mean, it's a young franchise, 1976. Yeah. Right. So when you're in those other franchises, like there's areas that, they have a kind of a Hall of Fame area and then they're celebrating they're kind of building their own story as they go. I think we did it with Coach McCarthy in Green Bay too. Like, hey, this is a special area. Let's build our own history. And that's basically it.
He mentioned Chuck. He was talking to Chuck about
Chuck
that
Arnold.
this morning. Yeah, Chuck Arnold is the president of the Seahawks. It's just if anyone curious there. The Dave Wyman face mask reference there, I doubt they'll actually have that immortalized somewhere. It sounds like that's just an inside joke between John and Dave. I just want to throw that out there as well. I have a ton of I want to spend a ton of time on this. I have a ton of thoughts about that and the reaction to it. But Chris, let's start with you here. When you saw the Leonard Williams mention of it and John's explanation of it, you thought what?
I thought, I get it. It makes sense. because when John Schneider was talking about it, he was breaking down what exactly they took down. It literally was just Pete Carroll and Legion of Boom for the most part. That's what they removed. They're not removing an entire history of the Seahawks, which started in the 70s, because there's still some stuff around. I don't know where that's at, but to his point, they're now moving to digital. So I think what it sounds like is they took all of that down and they're going to replace it now with digital copies of maybe Legion of Boom. And it might not go in that area, but they're still going to be represented. That's kind of what I took from what he just said. And I get Mike Macdonald's the new guy on the block. Maybe he comes in and thinks, dang, this is all Pete. I'm the new head coach, but it still feels like Pete's here, right? And they left him as the advisor. I ain't seen Pete since. So with that being said, I think this is definitely a clean slate for Mike Macdonald. No pressure of Legion of Boom because he's aware of what that defense was able to do. Everyone's aware of it, but not that he's pressured by it or worried, but he just wants to have something. This is his team now. So he's coming in with how he wants to do things, and I get it. You want to have your own identity. Leonard Williams is all in for it. I'm sure the rest of the guys are slowly but surely saying, you know what? Yeah, this is an opportunity for us to make a stand. My only question is, okay, so what does actually go on that wall? So if this defense is really, really good, are they now going to be plastered on that wall for the next 10 years? So I guess that's kind of tricky. And I understand, some fans are like, good, we need to kind of move on from the Legion of Boom. We've been trying to do such and such for the last 12 years or 10 plus years, and we haven't gotten back to that. Okay, well, now you have a clean slate, all white wall. What are you going to put on that wall? What's going to be represented with the Seahawks? We will find out, because I think in Hard Knocks with the Miami Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken, I forget which team it was, but they had a wall similar. I think all teams have this, if I'm not mistaken, where during the season they post up highlights of certain guys having a great game and things of that nature. So maybe that's something that he hones in on and does that on that specific wall. I'm not sure, because as you mentioned, Mike, we haven't got to talk to him. You haven't got to talk to him about it. So I'm sure at the next press conference, someone's definitely going to ask about that, and he'll give an answer as to what's next with that. But I understand it, and I get why former players are, not too happy about it, but I think they understand it. But again, it's just an opportunity for the franchise to not just keep something that's a moment, right? That Super Bowl moment. There's more to the Seahawks than just that Super Bowl moment. Although it's the biggest moment, there's more to this team. So I think they want to embrace that and try to show that, yeah, we're more than just the Super Bowl that we won. We can do more, and here's history. Here's Matt Hasselbeck. Here's Sean Alexander. Here's Walter Jones. Here's a bunch of other greats that have been here as well, although that run that they had was pretty epic. So that's kind of my take on it.
Let's see. So when I didn't think anything of it when Leonard Williams mentioned it. So there was that. That shows how much I was locked in. I was like, oh, he took the pictures down. No, good for him. And then obviously I gave it some more thought later. So this is my cop-out answer, and it's a genuine answer. If Mike Macdonald, if I knew him and if I was in the building with him, I would not have encouraged him to do that. I wouldn't have been like, yo, Mike, we gotta paint over this stuff, right? However, if he had came to me and said, hey, Mike, I'm about to take these pictures down, I would not have tried to talk him out of it, if that makes sense. So I get it in both directions. The thing is, and I'm projecting here this next part, I would have had follow-up questions. I'd have been like, what is your goal? What are you trying to, like, what do you in your mind, what are you symbolizing the takedown? Like, is this full on, like, are you doing your version of the Somali pirate from what's that movie? It's Captain Phillips, I think. Yep. Yeah. Are you doing your version of that? We're like, hey, look at me. I'm in charge. You got to gather all the players and you just start ripping the pictures down in front of them and like do that. Are you planning on like putting together like some reward system where guys do something and instead of getting a gold star, they fill up a picture on the wall? I don't know. The digital thing kind of answers that question, but these would have been my questions in real time because it's not insignificant. I think the only wrong response to this is to think nothing of it, because it does matter. It does matter. He wouldn't have done it if it didn't matter. The signage, that's a no-brainer. Duh. They're Pete-isms. Pete ain't here, take it down. Duh. Players, though, it's an interesting one. And then I would have asked Mike, okay, let's say he's like, hey, Mike, I want to start with a clean slate. I want to come in with, I want it to feel fresh. Like, okay, cool. How fresh are we talking? Because there are other parts of the building, as John mentioned, that are commemorative in that same way. Like if you, for example, if you keep walking past all those pictures and you get straight to the locker room, when you get there, there's a big special teams wall that has like a check. It says like each game is listed, and there's like a checklist of things that you do that they want to accomplish on special teams. I think it's like force a turnover, win the possession battle or something like that. There's like all these special teams checklists, and I believe it's like called the Ricardo Lockett Special Teams Circle of Toughness, something. I don't know. It's just in honor of Ricardo Lockett, right? Who was obviously an elite special teams player. Is that up? Is that gone? My guess would be yeah. But then I'd have been like, hey, Mike, are you taking that down too? There's some other stuff upstairs. You taking that down as well. Obviously, the Super Bowl 48 banner with everyone listed on it is hanging in the practice facility. Taking that down. The trophy, you can't take that. That's in the lobby. So obviously you're not taking the trophy away. I wouldn't have asked about that. But when you go in there, like the stuff that the players are going to see, all right, Super Bowl banners in there, taking that down. Probably not, but I would have asked because again, the question is how much erasing or how much resetting, erasing is too strong. How much resetting are you trying to do? That would just be my follow-up question. And eventually someone will ask me about that. It probably won't be me. But if he were to ask me, that's the dialogue I would have wanted to have, because I do think there's a wrong reason for doing it. If we just want to be like, if it's just like an exertion of dominance, like, yeah, man, I got to let it know, like, Pete ain't here no more. It's me. I'm like, Mike, if you don't leave them pictures alone, dog. Like, you being you is representation of that it's new, that it's a new era. Pete not being here is representation of it being a new era. You don't have to physically try to remove remnants of him. Like if he told me that was his reasoning, I'd be like, don't do it for that reason. That's dumb. That's gonna backfire. Like already Pete's in your head, and you're not even here. That's what I would have told. Because you can't go about it that way. Now, if he was just like, I want to motivate our guys to fill that wall with their own legacy. I can buy that. Because you're creating an incentive. It's like the incentive based part of it. Like, all right, cool. It's kind of like when Coach Carter, when the two dudes quit the team in the first, when he takes over, and it's like, Coach, those are our leading scorers from last year. Coach Carter's like, well, I guess we're gonna have new leading scorers this year. Boom. I like that part of it because it's forward thinking in that regard, and it's like player focused as opposed to like if you're doing it to exert your dominance and establish yourself, plant your flag, that feels Pete focused. I wouldn't have advised that. And also, so that's like I would have had all these questions for him. My answer is kind of cop-out-ish. However, what I thought was fascinating, Chris, is what you alluded to, is how people have felt about it. Ooh, this has been a lightning rod joint. I love it. We need stuff like this in the offseason. You mentioned former players. I got Cam Chance's reaction because Cam don't say nothing about nothing. So yeah, I thought it was very interesting. He only chimes in, but so often. If you go to like Cam's Twitter and just scroll, you can get to 2019 with a few flicks of the thumb because Cam just don't say nothing. He can get pre-COVID on Cam's Twitter pretty fast, right? So Cam tweeted, "You can't erase quote unquote the Legion. The standard is already set." So the fact that he opened that with using the word erase kind of implies how he feels about it. It's like, yo, y'all trying to like act like we didn't get down like how we got down. And it's like, I disagree, but it ain't my picture being taken down. And that's the thing that I feel like gets me to the next person I'm going to read Sherm's response. I think this is from like a reply to Cam's tweet from a fan. Doesn't matter. He says, quote, "Yeah, I'm sure every great franchise is removing its legendary players' pictures from their building because they can't ever live up to that. Makes sense. Sure, the Ravens don't have pictures of Ray Lewis and that great defense. I'm sure Pittsburgh doesn't have pictures of all the great moments. I'm sure Dallas, San Francisco, New England all remove pictures of the history of their franchise because of a new coach. Makes sense." Now,
And
those
that's why,
was very sarcasm, by the way.
sorry to cut you off, but I think that's where John Schneider talked about digitalizing stuff. I think they're going to digitalize a lot of that stuff that they actually took down and put it somewhere else, if that makes sense. That's kind of what I'm envisioning. And maybe they don't. Because to Sherm's point, yeah, I don't think the Ravens are going to be like, yeah, you know what? New coach is in here. Ray Lewis, gotta go. Terrell Suggs, can't do it. We got new pass rushers. Ed Reed, I know he's a GOAT. Gotta go. I don't think they're doing that. But I do understand if the Seahawks are like, yeah, we're doing something different now. We're going to digitalize all that Legion of Boom stuff. We're going to have a whole room for it. Legion of Boom, Pete Carroll era. Cool. Now, maybe that'll change how Cam feels, how Sherman feels. Maybe like, oh, my fault. I didn't know that was the plan. Of course you didn't know. It's a new regime. They're not going to, hey, guys, this is what we're going to do. They're just going to do things. And 5 years from now, who knows what it'll look like. But that's kind of me saying we don't know the plan yet. But based on the video that we played with John Schneider, him saying they're going to digitalize some stuff, I feel as if it's not erasing it or getting rid of it or however you want to look at it. They're just trying to figure out what to do with it. But in that room, they're having a clean slate and it'll be something else, which is fine, I think. But I also could be very wrong. It could, the new digitalized stuff might not even have Legion of Boom, but I find that very hard to believe.
Yeah, I don't know what the plan is. John's thing was pretty murky. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Sherm has been in the building, so I would presume that he knows more than any of us because he's been in there. I'm sure when he walked in, he's like, "Yo, where'd my picture go?" Because that's the other thing. I do want to give guys like that some grace because it ain't our pictures being taken down. I don't know if any of y'all are like immortalized anywhere at your old high school, at your local community center, at grandma house or whatever.
Yeah, they took our 11-0 banner down at St. Therese. I was kind of hurt, bro. But I understood. Yeah, I get it though.
And that's your middle school?
Yeah, that was what? Going on 20 years ago.
But like, okay, so you understand that feeling. Like I think I don't know if it's still up there, but I remember the Murrow College at Washington State. They sent me a picture. My old professor Ben Shores did of like me, a big old picture of me, and like I don't know where it is, but somewhere probably in the Communication College building or whatever. I think it was up during one of the Murrow Symposium things they do every year. Like if I show up back at the school and then took it down, whether it's right or not, my initial reaction I'm gonna be hot.
Like, I'll take it down.
Yeah, like I would definitely come in like, yo, where'd I go? You know, like that. I feel like we gotta cut Sherm some slack, Cam some slack, any of those guys some slack because it ain't us being taken down, right? And it's taken, and there is a difference between being taken down and just being moved. Because like you're saying, it could just be moved. All right. Instead of you just being gone from the wall, we're gonna create like a Legends corner that has Sean Alexander, that has Cortez, that has Kenny Easley, blah blah blah. I don't know if that's the plan. I don't want to act like that is and go off of that. But if that, I will say that there is a difference, obviously, between removing and moving. Those are different things. You just take me off the wall, I'm hot. I think we all, like I said, I don't know how many of y'all are immortalized somewhere at your hometown or whatever, but that would sting for me if I go
raising questions.
Yeah, I'd be like, yo, I ain't, hey, I'm still here. Like, what's up? Why don't take me down? So that's there's a lot of layers to it, but what I've also found interesting beyond the player reactions is like the bucking back on it, because I felt like a lot of people wanted to get rid of Pete but keep all the Pete stuff, and not even just necessarily symbols like that, but just the idea of like the culture, the Pete culture. And I never thought that was a good idea. I feel like we've talked about that when we were talking about the head coaching search. It's one reason why I wasn't like a Dan Quinn guy. I can't remember if we talked about Dave Canales as a potential guy. I don't remember. If so, I don't think I would have been on board for that. In part because I just don't think you hire Pete. Try to get Pete 2.0 because you hire a guy that worked with Pete. I always thought that was a bad idea. If you hire someone with no ties to that man and do your own thing. Like, even if you were like, let's get rid of John too. Let's just start completely fresh. I'd be like, cool. Because if you you can't just like keep stuff. I really don't think you can do that. I don't think none of that is smart. It's just a way to go about doing that. But yeah, like the basketball hoop. I understand why he got rid of that in our auditorium. I'm probably just as pissed about that as anyone in the locker room because I shoot on that hoop every time I'm in the building. I shoot very well. I should say that. But when I walked in there, I was like, yo, I can't even shoot. What's up with this Mike Macdonald guy? But that was a Pete thing. I do think you just gotta find what fits for you. Now, again, the reason behind it, I do think is important. If it's Pete focused, Mike, you bugging. Put the pictures back up and get the basketball hoop back in there. But if you're trying to send a message about, all right, I want these guys to feel like they can get on that wall now. Because it's not just that wall, too. Like I said, I would have questions about other stuff. I think the DB room, for instance, has actually not. I know the DB meeting room has all of the Legion of Boom guys. I believe it's everyone who made a Pro Bowl at least, and it like has how many times they made it and all their accolades and everything. So like you look up if you're in there and you can see Sherm's accolades, you see Cam's, you see Earl's, you see even like a Shaquille Griffin. Is that still up? I don't know, because you do. There's a couple ways to look at it. You could use it as motivation, like yo, look at what Earl like. This is the standard here, like Cam said, the standard. There's a couple ways to look at it. For me, my next step is just finding out from Mike Macdonald, what is your motivation, dog? Because there's definitely a wrong way. There's this negative energy that you could be producing with some of the like removal of certain things. Signage, slogans, yeah, you get rid of that. That's you don't do that. But the pictures and everything, yeah, if you're just straight removing them, I need to know a good reason why. That's all. Just want to know, because I do think there's a positive way to look at it too. If you look in there and be like, yo, this could be y'all. I want y'all to fix that. That tip that Sherman made was great, but I want another one. I want somebody else to make their tip. Spoon, I want you up here. Leonard, I want you up here. K9, I want you up. I think that's you can make it player focused. If not, you're just hating on Pete. Yeah, I don't think that's good. I have one, Chris, before we go to mock drafts. I want to ask you this because this made me think of this before we hopped on. Are you a person who, I don't want to get you in trouble, but let's say you have an ex and they got you a gift, but you get with someone else. Do you still keep the gifts?
It's crazy because I had some earrings from my ex, and I was like, "Why do I still have these?" And I threw them
Earrings,
away.
you said? They're earrings?
Yeah. She bought me earrings,
Mhm.
back in high school, and I had them. I want to say for like 3 more years, and I'm like, "No, what am I doing?" No, so I threw them away, and even go to that, like for example, you get a new girl or you get a new guy. How long do you keep the pictures up of your old fling before you delete them off your Facebook, your Instagram? Now people are like, I don't have time to delete pictures. It takes you like 30 seconds to delete some pictures. Like personally, I'm deleting all the pictures of my ex on my Facebook, MySpace, Instagram. Like I'm getting rid of it. I'm with someone else. I don't need to leave it up there. Oh, it takes too much time. It really doesn't. You just go in there, delete picture, and it's that simple. So to answer your question, Mike, I'm the type of person that's gonna get rid of it because I'm no longer with that person. And having that item, it puts you in la la land. You might have memories, and I moved past that. So you get rid of it. At least that's what I do. I don't know. What do you do?
It depends on the gift, for sure. Because if it's something I use, I'm gonna have to keep that thing. It depends on the functionality of the gift. Like if they
Yeah, I
gave
don't
me
want to
like
get you in trouble.
no, I don't think I have any. To be
Oh, I know
honest,
I don't, but I hear you.
yeah, I don't think I do. I think I have like a shirt, maybe, like a custom. I have like a custom Mariners jersey that I
I will
kept.
make sure to edit this out in case T Money pops in. I'm like, excuse me.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool. I'm not sure. Yeah, it
I
doesn't
know
matter.
you ain't tripping.
I'll be fine. I'm getting married. I'll be straight. But yeah, that made me think of that too. Anyway, we can get to football talk though. I want to know what you guys think though. You can tweet us everything, leave some comments. Your hot take on Picturegate. I want to hear it all. I'm very interested. The reactions have been just visceral. It's great. No one seems to be on the fence. They seem to be very much on one side
Or the
other, which is fine. I love it. It's April. We need some stuff to talk about that ain't just the draft. Let's get into some Picturegate. So anyway, all right, Chris.
Well, there you have it.
You
You
ready?
ready, Mike? Oh, look at that. We're both ready. But yeah, we're going to give you guys a mock draft. Now, full disclosure, I didn't read Mike's story until I had my list because I wanted to make sure that A, I didn't have any idea of what he was doing, and B, if we had anything that was the same, I'd probably change it. And luckily, We had nothing that was the same.
Oh, nice.
And I made 2 mock drafts. I made one with trades, and then I saw Mike's later on. I was like, oh, he made a trade. So I actually decided just to do it straight up because I like Mike's idea of doing a trade, and I had trades as well. But then I said, chances are, if they do trade, cool. If they don't trade, cool. They're only going to choose one, right? Obviously, there's going to be trades more in the draft, obviously, but I think Mike covers that. So with Mike's draft, there will be a trade. With my draft, it's straight to the point because there is an option. You could take the big risk for a future reward because the draft is about improving for the next 2 to 3 years. It's not about winning this season with this draft. You're trying to 2026, 2027. So if these dudes hit, that's what you're looking for. So, Mike, do you want to kick this off with your first pick in the 2024 NFL draft, the Seattle Seahawks select? Or should I go first?
I want you to do your whole mock.
Do my whole mock first?
Yep.
All right.
I want to hear you. I want to hear your picks, and then I want you to explain them. I want to, because actually, full disclosure, since we're doing that, I have no idea what yours looks like. So I'm very interested. Very interested.
We're both on the same boat. All right.
Well, you've seen mine. I published.
Prior to this, so obviously now that people are watching it, yes, but. As I said, I didn't check Mike's until I completed mine. I was like, I pray we don't have anything that's matching because this is going to be like, oh, you guys just kissing each other's tails, man. Y'all ain't doing nothing special. But to my point, we really dug in this, and I know Mike did his, and I completed mine. So without further ado, in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Seahawks at number 16 select. Dun, 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 dun. I know. Talisa Fuaga out of Oregon State, 6'5", 324 pounds, Tacoma, Washington native. They go with the big fella. Now, disclaimer here, I know I've said on multiple shows, the Seahawks would never, John Schneider and the Seahawks would never just take the 16th pick and then wait 60-plus picks to make another pick. In this scenario, this guy's on the board. The Seahawks need to figure out their offensive line. They've had issues for years. This dude can play tackle. He can play guard. You put him out there, he's nasty. He's really talented. He can do it. I think in this scenario, if he's there, you take it. You take it. I know Mike's not a big Marvel guy, but I know you remember watching Infinity War. And at the end of the movie, towards the end, Baby Gamora, after Thanos snapped and, goes and realizes he's completed his mission, she asked him, what did it cost? And he had that subtle everything. This is this pick right here. What did it cost, John Schneider? Everything. That's 60-plus picks that you're going with, that you're just going to be like, you know what? I believe in Fuaga. I think he is that dude that's going to change our offensive line for years to come, alongside with Charles Cross. Hopefully a healthy Abe Lucas. And as I get further into the draft, we can add more talent. But I think he's going to look at it and say, it cost me everything to take Fuaga. But you know what? It was worth it at the end because I was able to snap my fingers and we created a dominant offensive line and we were able to get to the Super Bowl. It was all worth it at the end of the day. So that's who I'm going with number 16, first round, Fuaga, tackle, Oregon State, a beast. And one thing I forgot, Mike, while I'm talking, what's one thing that we've been doing?
64.
We've been having clips of these dudes doing their thing. And Fuaga here, you just see how athletic he is. He gets off the line of scrimmage. He's fast, good hands, has the length, and he's just a bully. Look at this. No chance. I forget that's the homie from UCLA. That's supposed to be a pretty good, I think he's going to be a first rounder if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, the Seahawks could use this. They could use a guy that can come in, play multiple positions. That is a guard. I don't think he's going to play tackle just because Charles Cross is there. But you bring him in, I think this makes the offensive line that much better. And right now, the Seahawks are in need of getting that offensive line better. They need someone that can come in and make change and get out there and create lanes for Ken Walker, Charbonnet. And you know what? Something that's working. The screen game. Yay. This is another athletic guy that can get out there and move. Look at this. Getting out, moving, get to the ground, physical, fast, mean. Look at this dude just shoving people. This is what you want. a nasty guy that can get out there and make plays. So that's why I'm going with the risk it all. Take number 16, Fuaga, tackle Oregon State, solidify your offensive line, and go from there.
Wait, where are you playing him? Are you playing him at tackle?
Playing him at guard. He's going to come in and play guard. He's going to come in and play guard. So you have Charles Cross, the left tackle, Fuaga going to guard, center, et cetera, et cetera. So that's who I'm going with.
At right guard?
Yep. I will put him at left guard.
Oh, left guard. Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
put him at left guard. So Charles Cross. Then you have Fuaga, and you go from there. That's how I'm looking at it. And if you know what, if you don't like it that way, put him at right guard. But you know what? I think he can get it done at either side. He is that talented. He's that gifted. So for all intents and purposes, I will go with right guard right now. So it'll be right guard. Put Fuaga there next to Abe Lucas because I actually have another guard that I'll get to later on. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So that is my first selection. To continue this draft, the Seahawks are going to wait and go all the way to the third freaking round. And they're going to go with Austin Booker, edge out of Kansas. I know everyone's thinking, dang, Chris, you hyped up John not waiting 66 picks, et cetera, et cetera. I told you guys I'm not great at math, so I might be off. But in this scenario, you're still able to get a guy in the top 100. So why not go ahead and do so? And I think this dude checks a lot of boxes. All right. He's solid in the run game. And I know Mike and I have talked about, okay, the Seahawks need to get a pass rusher that can also have a impact on the run game. I think with the right coaching, he can definitely get there. He's definitely have some explosiveness. He has long limbs, rangy, athletic, and obviously he can get more muscle. That's what Dame has been saying on the Beast. So if you guys haven't checked that out, please go do so. It's really in depth, gives you everything you would need to know about these guys. So back to Booker, this is someone that quick twitch, gets off the line of scrimmage, and can make plays. And you can never have enough guys that can do that. So I think if you can get him in there, I mean, look at this guy on the run. Stands up, the left tackle, shoves him down, and makes a play on the football. Obviously, it's going to be NFL dudes. It won't be as easy, but I think with the right coaching, this dude is going to be a stud with the Seahawks. And you're still getting him a top 100. You're still getting a good, talented edge rusher. And I like this kid. I'm hoping that it works out and I get at least one player for this mock draft. I got one a couple years ago with Will Dissly. I know, Mike, you had a really good draft. I think it was 2 years ago where you nailed a couple of them. So I'm trying to catch up to Mike and get at least one or two dudes. So this is someone that I'm really hoping they can take a look at because he is effective with his ability to get off the line of scrimmage and make plays. If I'm not mistaken, last season, he was first team, all Big 12, led team in forced fumbles, sacks, and tackles for loss. So you're not getting some dude that, bounced around. This dude, he can get to it. He can ball. And as you can see on the tape here, he's making some serious plays. And I think with the right coaching again, he can definitely make an impact with the Seahawks. So that's going to be the second selection in the 2024 NFL draft. As we continue going along, I did mention that I was going to add to the offensive line. And again, I didn't make any trades because I thought Mike's was really good. And I was like, shoot, I don't want to double down and have trades on mine as well. So I'll just stick with it. And I'll go through each pick with the Seahawks have. So they go round 4, number 102. And that's Mason McCormick, guard out of South Dakota State. Now, I was going to pull up film on him, but then I said, you know what? I can just talk about this dude because, for one, my computer was screwing up. So my apologies. Sometimes technology is quirky, but it is what it is. Mason stood out to me for a couple of reasons. He also played guard. Okay. Now, the one thing is his weakness, he stands up a little bit. All right. That can be a little, Chris, why would you want him? A guy that plays a little too uptight and is inconsistent with his bend. With the right coaching, the Seahawks got a new offensive line coach. They got a new offensive coordinator. This is an opportunity to really build from the draft and get you some talented dudes. And I think this guy has a talent. He has great build, above average body strength, and better athleticism than expected. So another thing that I like about him that I saw in his highlights, how violent he is. I know I showed you Fuaga and his plays about getting upfield, especially on runs and just destroying linebackers and safeties. This kid also can do that. All right. He can definitely get upfield and cause mayhem. Whether it's a screen game, whether you're running the football, you name it, he can get up there. And he's durable. I think that's one thing that is forgotten about the offensive line. He started 57 straight games and played over 70 games in college. So he's damn near an Iron Man. And you need that in the NFL. You need guys that are durable, that can play through things, and that are just going to be consistent. Now, obviously, he might not be a day one starter, but I think with the right coaching, he can definitely make an impact. And I mentioned where I put Fuaga at right guard. Well, this guy, Mason McCormick, he can go to left guard. So now you got Charles Cross, potentially Mason McCormick if he does end up becoming a starter, fill out the center role. And then obviously at right guard, Fuaga. And then Abe Lucas healthy. I'm not mad. This offensive line definitely sounds like it's a lot better than last year's. And if you have a better offensive line, hey, who knows what could happen? You might be that much closer to stopping the 49ers and getting yourself there to an NFC championship game, winning the division, you name it. So this is someone that stood out to me as the 4th round selection, 102nd pick for the Seattle Seahawks. So Seahawks, you see what I'm doing here? That offensive line's getting revamped. It would suck if I miss on this and these guys don't turn out to be great, but it's not about that. It's about the mock draft. I'm no expert, but having Nick Baumgartner on, talking to a couple of guys, this is someone that I said, you know what? Why not give him a shot? Why not go out there and see if the Seahawks can go ahead and get this kid and bring him in and maybe, just maybe, get this offensive line back to find some consistency. I'll just say that much. Find some freaking consistency. So with my next pick, we're going to go defense. Surprise, surprise, right? So the 4th round, 118th pick, we're going to go Jeremiah Trotter, linebacker out of Clemson. Okay?
Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
Excuse me. That is correct. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. out of Clemson. All right. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Mike, did we talk about him before or was it? Maybe we didn't.
I don't remember talking about him.
I don't think we did.
Deontay might have when we had Deontay on. I can't remember.
See, now, yeah, maybe we did, maybe we didn't. But the cool thing about this kid is he's NFL ready, right? Based on his frame. And when he goes downhill, there is no stopping this man. He gets downhill in a hurry. He had last season, 15 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks, and he had 8 passes defensed as a linebacker. That's crazy. He finds his way around the football and he makes plays. So obviously the Seahawks, they signed 2 guys, but it's just 1-year deals. So you bring this kid in, this could be a future project. Now it's a 4th round pick, so it really depends on how he does in training camp, how well he picks up this new scheme that's going to be thrown his way. He is really instinctive in the run game. He can get to blockers, get off of them, and make a play on the football. And that's something that you need, especially when you look at, for example, going up against the Rams. What do they love to do? Play action or run the football. You need someone that can get in there, engage with the offensive lineman, shove them out the way, and then go make a play on the football. Something Bobby Wagner and Jordan Brooks were pretty good at doing. You don't have those 2 anymore. So bringing in this young stud, I think he can definitely get it done. Will he be a starter? Potentially, but I do know he'll have impact for sure as a special teamer. Considering now the new rules on the kickoff, I could see him making plays out there on the kickoff now with that new rule. Mike, what are your thoughts on that real quick?
Never kick.
On the kickoff, though? You don't like the new kickoff?
What's the new rule? Basically, there's no run up anymore.
No. So, yeah, exactly. No run up. Yeah, it sounds like Mike's not interested. Don't worry, guys.
My thing is with the kickoff, and I'll be brief on this. There's no such thing as safe football.
Oh, well, duh. Yeah, I get
feel
that.
Like everything that's an attempt to make the game safer is just like ultimately an exercise in futility. Like there's just no way to make it safe. I feel like a really good example of that is remember in the Lions game, the playoff game, not against the Seahawks. I forget which safety it is, but he just comes and wrecks the tight end over the middle. I want to say it's Tyler Higbee. Just blows his knee up. And actually Gronk took a bunch of these hits too. and they're a product of coaching the players to not hit high anymore. And I think even the commentator, whoever it was in that game, I think it was on Fox, said if he was like, I talked to guys about this particular type of hit, and I asked them, would you rather get hit in the head or get hit in the knee like dude did? And he said it was overwhelming that the answer was to get hit up high. And so I use it as an example of like, yeah, okay, he made it safer. Guys aren't getting cracked in the head as much. Cool. Now their knees are getting taken out. It's like there's just no safe way to fly fast and hit moving targets safely. And this kickoff is another good example of that. You can make the guys closer together, but it's still violence at the end of the day. I feel like trying to police the violence, but keep the violence, it's not really going to work. The only cool thing I like about the kickoff is that because the guys are already so close to each other, you can potentially treat it like run game stuff with the scheming. You can like technically run like counter or like pull guys and stuff like that.
Yep.
That's kind of cool. We'll see how people incorporate that. Like, does your O-line coach matter a lot more now for your special team stuff? I don't know.
Yes,
but
I would.
In general, everything that's done in the name of safety, I just laugh. Like there's no such thing as safe football. The inherent danger is part of the allure. If it was safe, people wouldn't watch. And thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Mike poo-pooed that really well. So sorry. It sounds like my pick of Jeremiah Trotter doing great on special teams. No.
I mean, he could, but here's the thing: being fast and be able to run and hit is devalued now. They're already standing right there.
Hey, he can get off block though. All right.
I'm saying he can't. Not say he can't, but like usually your special teamers, they're attractive because they're fast.
Yeah,
they can pursue. There's not really much of a need for that particular. Like I can put, like if they're gonna be doing like run game stuff, maybe try to have some more D linemen on my special teams now to like take up a double team or whatever, or set some edges. Who knows? So I have no idea what that would look like, but in general, when you talk about something that makes the game safer, it's like something about the hip drop. It's like,
yeah,
all right, watch the consequence of that. You're gonna see guys launching at dudes now. It's like, well, if I can't grab them and drag them to the ground, I'm gonna have to just launch and smack them.
No, I get it.
Like grab him up high and try to throw him down. If I can't grab his hips, or dive at people's knees because you can't grab. You know what I'm saying? There's just anyway. Again,
no, you're fine.
To my TED Talk. Continue.
You're good, but he's also Trotter Jr. is also really good at reading the quarterback's eyes and making a play on the football. As I mentioned, my guy had 8 passes defense last season, so he can definitely find his way in coverages. So third down passing situations, if the Seahawks were to take him, this is a guy that could be on the field making plays. That's how effective he has been. Now, some of his weaknesses, injuries, right? Hamstring injury that plagued him for the first half of 2023 season. He played through it, which I don't know how he did that because I've had hamstring injuries, although I'm not built like this guy. I don't know how he did it, so all power to him. Hopefully that's not something that nags him at the next level because obviously, hamstrings play a vital role in you playing. So that's something that they're going to have to figure out. And then he gets a little handsy too. If you put him in man situations, he can get handsy and that could call a flag for holding. So those are some things that he is still going to have to work out at the next level. But overall, I really think he's going to be a solid project for the Seahawks to bring in. And again, this is for the future. So 2-3 years from now, this kid could really step up and have some serious impact on the Seahawks defense. So we're going to go to round 6. We're getting close to the end here. With the 179th pick, the Seattle Seahawks select safety Evan Williams out of Oregon. So the reason why I went safety here is for a couple reasons. No longer have Jamal Adams, obviously. No longer have Quandre Diggs. They bring in, what's his name? Rayshawn Jenkins, who, as Mike has mentioned before, he's pretty good at a lot of things. But doesn't hurt to bring in a young guy who is he is 22, about to be 23 here in July, coming up on the 28th. So for one thing, he's not a speedster, all right? He ran a 4.5, so he's not going to blow you away with his speed, but his instincts, right? He is also very physical, and as a run defender, he's pretty darn good. He's able to get through and nail his target when he sees him. He's able to drive. And I think the Seahawks could use a young, talented safety in that room. I'm not sure about what's his name that hurt his knee, Mike, for the Seahawks. They drafted him 7th round last year. Oh my gosh, I see his face.
Jarek Reed.
Thank you, Jarek Reed.
Jarek
Yes.
Reed, the second. He's a 6th round pick from New Mexico.
6th round pick. That's right, New Mexico. So I'm assuming he'll be back, but just as an insurance policy, this kid can definitely come in, and possibly make the team. All right, he's not the biggest dude, average size, not the biggest frame or anything, but again, once he makes up his mind he's going to point A, there's nothing stopping this dude. All right, so this is someone that can come in and potentially make the team, and it's a project, right? You get into these later rounds, you just want to try to fill up your roster with guys that could potentially be there. So also, I'll stick with the 6th round. We'll go pass catcher. Can never have enough of these guys, right? And the Seahawks tight end room, how's it looking, Mike?
Not great. Yeah,
not great. Obviously, they could have said, Chris, why didn't you go earlier? I really wanted to hit on some positions that I felt needed more attention before I got to tight end. So with the 6th round, round 6, 192nd pick overall, the Seattle Seahawks select a tight end. They're going with Dallin Holker, all right, out of Colorado State, 6'3", 234 pounds, okay? For one thing, the boy is loose. And what I mean by that is he's shifty. You know how Jake is like he's just straightforward and he's just going. This dude, he got a little wiggle to him, strangely enough.
Who's Jake?
Jake Bobo. He's
Gotcha.
He's just straightforward. He's not making too many dudes miss or anything. He's just catch. I'm gonna run you over. I got one cut. This dude's game is very relaxed, loose, especially for a guy that's what, as I said, 6'3", 230. It's a pretty big dude. Now, another thing is he could push the field vertically. All right. He had 11 catches of 20 plus yards last season at Colorado State. He also had 6 touchdowns. He did have 4 drops. Not the greatest thing in the world, but I mean, they play what? He played in 12 games and only had 4 drops. Not the end of the world. I don't think people are going to lose sleep over that. But I would say he does need to get some bulk, especially with the Seahawks. I don't know what this Mike Macdonald offense under a new offensive coordinator is going to look like, but I imagine you're going to have to be able to block. The Seahawks have used their tight ends to do a couple of things. A lot of 13 personnel last season and the years prior. Your tight ends have to be able to block. You got to be able to go out there and push linebackers around. Hell, even Jake Bobo had to come down and crack sometimes. So I would assume they're going to want you to be able to block, and that's something that he's going to have to work on. But I think this just fills up the tight end room, and I think this is a dude that they could just bring in and potentially make the team. All right. So that's kind of why I'm going tight end here. Again, they don't have the strongest tight end room right now. That's why I'm saying you can go with it in the 6th round and maybe it pans out, because I feel like I've hit needs at linebacker, edge, also offensive line. And then my last one, give me a receiver, Mike. Give me a receiver. Give me someone that's fast, make plays. I'll take it, right? So in the 7th round, number 235th overall, the Seattle Seahawks select Mason. Say it with me, Mike. Mason Tipton, wide receiver out of Yale. Now, I don't know how many people watch Yale football.
Not a lot of people, I can guess.
You didn't watch any games, Mike?
Please. I barely watched the Big Ten. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, this dude's blazing. He ran a 4.33, okay? 5'9", 180. So not a big guy, but he's a speedster. He has the speed, and sometimes that just shows up on screen. So he's undersized. We don't know what he's going to be like at the next level, but he's speedy and shifty enough to maybe with the right team, it's a solid fit. Now, obviously, the wide receiver room is pretty stacked as is. They're giving D. Eskridge another chance. Well, you want to see what D. Eskridge is all about. Bring in some competition. Bring another speedster in to see how he competes. You can't have enough speed. The new kickoff rule, maybe this helps someone like Mason Tipton make the team just because he's able to break one or two with the right blocking. You got DK out there, Charles Cross, and whoever, Noah Fant blocking for a kickoff, and Mason Tipton's able to take it to the house. You could have an X factor there. So this is someone that I think that 7th round, add another receiver to the room. He can go out there again, 4.3 speed. You can't make it up. I say get you a receiver like this guy, speedy and shifty, and he's quick enough to make somebody miss. And if he makes enough people miss, you might have one of those, which is a touchdown. So that has been my mock draft. I think I hit on some of the needs that the Seahawks are definitely going to want to hit on this draft. Whether they select any of these guys, we'll see what happens. But that's who I got for the 2024 Seahawks man-to-man mock draft.
Let me hear your whole list.
Got you. So to start things off, I went with Fuaga, tackle, Oregon State. He is going to play right guard. Austin Booker, edge rusher out of Kansas. He was the 81st selection. Going to the 4th round, number 102, Mason McCormick, guard out of South Dakota State. Round 4, number 118, Seahawks go linebacker, Jeremiah Trotter, Jr., linebacker out of Clemson. The 6th round, 179th pick, Seahawks select Evan Williams, safety out of Oregon. And then we go to round 6, 192, Dallin Holker, tight end, Colorado State. And I wrap things up, round 7, number 235, speedster, shifty, quickness, sign me up, Mason Tipton out of Yale, wide receiver.
Yeah, you can definitely tell you don't drink. There's no references to Evan Williams, nothing that doesn't pop out to you at all. It's liquor. You don't drink, so it's fine.
Wow, why you gotta do that to me, man? Damn. That's cold.
I can't be the only person who's thinking that. I had never heard of this kid. So when you said Evan Williams, I was like, yo,
I didn't even
some liquor. Oh boy.
Well, I'm sorry to let every listener down. That's like, damn, Chris, you just missed out on big points there, man. He's named after what, Mike?
I think it's bourbon or whiskey. It's like an old person drink for sure.
So for my 60, 50 and up group, I'm sorry.
Evan, is he a junior? Nope, doesn't look like he is. So, but anyway, I wouldn't have expected you to know that. And also, Evan Williams is now like super popular alcohol. Like right now, like tequila, not Jose Cuervo, Casamigos. I mean, actually, Patron. Yeah, Jose was popular at one time. Vodkas. But yeah,
all I know is Cristal because it's Chris. They pop in Chris. That's the only reason why I know that one.
Oh wow, big baller. Yeah. Anyway, all right. That's the only thing that popped in my head. I was like, yo, wait a minute, this kid named after alcohol. Good for him.
Great. I don't know how I missed that.
Old people, like if you're at home drinking Evan Williams, like either you're a blues singer or your spouse just left you. There's really just no other. Actually, I guess those could be hand in hand if you're a blues singer, your spouse just left you. But there's no reason to be sitting at the house drinking Evan Williams. But that popped into my head because
that's all that popped into your head. Wow, look at that, guys. That whole draft. He said, "Oh, he named this kid after a drink." Interesting.
No, that's not that all popped.
I'm messing with you, man.
The only one thing that stood out was those were a lot of like kids I would want to contribute right away because a lot of them are older. Like you mentioned, one of those cats turns 23. I think that's Evan.
Yep.
I think McCormick is like 23 already, maybe 24.
And he's healthy. He's durable, man. Yeah,
that was all. That was the only other thing. I'm like, okay, if the guys are 23, 24, I want you to come in right away. I think Holker is 24 already as well. So that's the only. If you want some actual analysis, I give you that. Not just the kid whose name sounds like liquor. That sounds like it is. I have a cousin who named her son Jameson, which is Irish whiskey. Yeah, I don't talk. I haven't talked to her in like 15 years. I just found out she named the kid Jameson. Anyway, mock time. Let's see. Let's pull up my list. Like you said, I did make trades because I'll preface this. I just feel like at this point, there's no way they pick a pick at 16. I just feel like you can't. I just feel like you can't.
That's why I use my Thanos reference. What did it cost me?
They have too many needs, too many opportunities to trade back. I think there's going to be a lot of teams that want to come up for stuff that the Seahawks don't need. Teams that want to come up to get ahead of the run on offensive tackles. Teams that want to come up and grab a receiver. we did a beat writer mock draft. I don't think that comes out for a couple days. But at The Athletic, the guy who, a spoiler, like I traded back because there was multiple offers. People hitting me in my DM like, yo, Mike, I need to come up to 16,
Sweet.
coming up for tackles and receivers and stuff like that. There's a couple really good trades in that. Anyway, so in my mock, I'm trading back. First team I'm calling is Green Bay to go back to 25 because I like what they have a second round pick. They have 2 picks because of the Aaron Rodgers deal. They have like a pick in the 40s, and they have their original pick, which I believe was like pick 58. So I'm calling them, say, yo, give me a second round pick. I'll move back 9 spots. I'm comfortable with the guys that I can get. If 9 dudes get taken, I'm pretty comfortable with who else will be there, particularly because some of them are going to be receivers, corners, and tackles. Just stuff the Seahawks don't need. There won't be any linebackers or safeties, so we can wait on that too. So I'm taking with the 25th pick, Graham Barton, offensive lineman from Duke. Just like you, I'm converting a guy to play a position he did not play in college, which I can be a little wary of that sometimes. I don't think that's like a foolproof plan. It gives me Tom Cable vibes sometimes, but the guy just has to have the right traits. Particularly if I'm gonna move you inside, I just need you to be just kind of a jerk, but not like too much of a jerk. I know you described Fuaga as mean. That's probably the word, but like a full-on jerk is like, because you remember the kid the Saints just took, like Trevor Penning, I think is his name, Northern Iowa kid. He was like fighting people at the Senior Bowl, fighting people in training camp. Like he was too much of a tough guy. I don't need you to be fight people tough guy. I need you to be throw other grown men on the ground tough guy. And Graham's probably not athletic enough to do that at tackle, but will be perfect for doing that on the interior. He's Dane Brugler's number 1 center, but I actually like him at guard. I would right there, either guard spot, don't really care. But if we can move back 9 spots, get this dude, pick up a second round pick, yeah, sign me up for that. I think the mean streak and the athleticism is what's got me there. I know that when it's time for him to go against some big old dude in the trenches, I can rely on him more often than not. And I do think he'd be impact starter. That would be my only other thing about, like, if John Schneider asked me, I don't know why in all my scenarios they ask me stuff, but if John Schneider came to me and was like, yo, Mike, what'd you think about trading back? My response would be, you guys can see I'm probably terrible with advice because I answer questions with questions. But I would say, okay, John, do you still think you can trade back and get a starter? That would be my question to him, because I do think there's only a handful of starters available in this first round. And I do think Graham is one of them. I don't think there's many in this range, but there's enough that I could trade back. I think this guy's a starter. I think the Oregon center is a starter. I think
Powers.
Jackson Powers Johnson. I think the Texas D lineman is a starter. Cooper DeJean is a starter. Oddly enough, I think at least 3 of the corners are starters. I don't know if they would go that route. Nate Wiggins from Clemson, Terran Arnold from Alabama, and then the kid from Toledo, whose name starts with a Q. Don't feel like looking it up. But anyway, I think those guys will be starters too. I just don't think they will go corner in the first round. But that will be my question to John. Like, hey, trading back is cool as long as you feel comfortable that you can get a starter, not just like a guy, someone that you can plug in to start like week 1, week 2, whatever. I want him in the lineup as quick as possible, like Jordan Brooks. Got in the lineup by week 3. Yeah, that's like the bar for me. So because we traded back, picked up a second round pick. I think I also did I give up a pick in that trade in my mock? I did. I gave up pick 118 in that. So, but we picked up a second, and because the Packers also have pick 58, that'll be my next pick. And picks in the second round, pick 58. Who am I going with here? I am going with. I like this kid, Edgerrin Cooper, a linebacker from Texas A&M. Chris, the more I'm watching this dude, I actually think he might be a better fit than the Junior Colson cat. I think in terms of starters, I'm really only liking Edgerrin and Junior. As like I feel like depending on the scheme, I can expect you to come in right away and compete. Because I'm not like super blown away by the idea of Tyrell Dodson or Jerome Baker at like weak side linebacker. I think they'll both be like fine, but I don't think it's impossible for a rookie to come unseat them, particularly if you got good instincts and you're really physical cat. With like Tyrell's kind of undersized, Jerome pretty physical, can cover and stuff and all that as well. I think Edgerrin kind of does a lot of that same stuff and is just younger, Pretty fast dude. I think he made a lot of plays on the ball too, if I remember correctly. A lot of TFLs. He got in the backfield a lot. 17 TFLs last year. Woo. Oh yeah, that's nuts. We talked about this with Deontay. Some of these guys are kind of undersized. I think Edrin's like 230. Kind of just what it is with the linebackers these days. You're not really getting anyone who's like 240, 242. There's like one guy, maybe two guys in here who maybe fit that. But yeah, no, Edrin can run and he can cover. I like that. I need that combo in there. Again, reminds me of like a Jordan Brooks. That's like you see what happened when Jordan got to blitz this year, really kind of unlocked him a lot more. I could see Edrin in that role too. So still weak side. So we still need a Mike linebacker in my scenario, but I think that's fine. I think with your first two picks in this scenario, you traded back, picked up a guy who could probably start, and then you grab another guy who could probably start. Because after this, like you said in your mock, you're kind of just hoping guys make the team after a certain point, or maybe you're hoping they pop in like 2025, realistically. But I think with these first two, like two guys in the top 60, I expect you guys to compete. If not day one starter, by the time we hit the bye week, I need fans on Twitter begging for me to put you in. That's kind of like my kind of robbery. It happens everywhere.
Right.
Like, yeah, why aren't we playing such and such? We spent this pick on them. Sometimes the fans are right about that. Jordan Brooks was a good example. It was like, I know y'all got KJ, I know y'all got Bobby, but we just used the first round pick on a linebacker. That kid needs to play. He was in the lineup by week 3. Blew his knee out as soon as he got in the lineup. But he was in the lineup. All right, my third pick, I traded again. I'm a big trade guy because I felt like if we make a pick, it's 58. Like you were alluding to, Chris, 16 to 81, that's a long time to wait. But I feel like we can trade back a little bit now and get fancy because we've already taken a pick in the second round. Right? So in this scenario, I traded with the 49ers. And also in both of my trades, I'm kind of banking on relationships too. John used to work for the Packers, John Schneider. So I figured whenever he calls the Packers to trade, they can do something. I think they would have traded up for Jordan Brooks too. I think he initially wanted to trade, not for Jordan Brooks, but do you remember that, Chris? They were actually going to trade the pick that became Jordan Brooks. But I think they got backed out on, and they traded with the Dolphins, I think it was, and ended up taking Jordan Love. But I don't even think John really wanted to take Jordan Brooks. I think he was going to trade out. Anyway, that's why I'm calling the Packers. In this case, I got John calling another one of his homies. That would be John Lynch. They're super tight. Don't really know why or how, but they are. Maybe golf buddies, Evan Williams drinking buddies, who knows? But in this scenario, the Seahawks pick up pick number 94 in the third round, pick number 124, and pick 176, which I believe is the last pick of the fifth round. And they give up 81, and the Seahawks give up 179, which I think is like the second or third pick in the sixth round that they got from the Commanders. Because remember, all the Commanders picks are high because the Commanders were picking at the top of the draft, whereas the Niners got picks that are a little lower. Anyway, so with that pick at 94 now, taking one of the Niners comp picks, we're going with Malik Mustafa, safety out of Wake Forest. And we did not talk about these picks beforehand, Chris and I, but to show you how encouraging this pick was, when Chris was looking at pulling the clips that we're putting in here right now that you guys are seeing before we recorded, he was like, yo, this guy's a missile. It's like, yeah, I like this guy, man, because he triggers really well. I know you guys won't like this fully, but it does remind me some of Jamal Adams. Like when Jamal, for everything I know, he's not the most popular cat in Seattle. You guys can't deny though, healthy Jamal Adams, when he triggers downhill, he's coming, and you feel it, whether it's on a blitz or he was like one of their best run defenders when healthy. Like Jamal brings it when he sees his target and comes downhill. Like he's pretty solid. There was a run there where Jamal's like their best tackle, which is crazy to say how bad they got at tackling after a while. If you want like a more maybe a young potential-ish comp, when I see this Mustafa kid trigger, and he would be like a box guy, to be very clear. He reminds me a little bit of what they're trying to make Kobe Bryant into. Kobe, he's got the coverage skills, obviously because he played corner at a really high level, but where Kobe, and you saw a little bit of this in the preseason, Kobe likes to knock the hell out of people. That is his bag. That is his thing. He smoked somebody in one of them preseason games last year. Can't remember who it was, but like I think he got a flag for it too. And they ended up picking it up. he is just a beast. And I guarantee you're going to see whichever team takes Mustafa, who has probably the best last name in any of the picks here. Anybody who take him, we're going to see him go viral on Twitter at least twice in his rookie year. Once in the preseason and then once in the regular season for a special teams hit, preseason hit, whatever. If he gets to be in a starting lineup, whatever. I see him, the physicality there is really going to stand out. So you put him in the split high safety stuff and just have him trigger down, be the safety that like rolls down after the snap or whatever, blitz him a little bit, hit the run. Yeah, I'm on board. Good athlete too. I can't remember how he tested off the top of my head, but you can kind of see for our YouTube viewer, you can see like kid can move. What did he run? He's pretty compact, dude. Reminds me of Quandre a little bit. 5'10", 209. Yeah, pretty compact. Man, 4.54. Not great. But he hits. But
Well,
he hits.
he don't look like he ran a 4.54 in these highlights. My goodness.
Yeah, that's the
down
thing. Nolan Teasley, the assistant GM, I think someone asked him during the pre-draft press conference last week. They were like, "Hey, how are your scouting of players evolved or anything, something like that?" And he said nothing's really changed. He just said they use a little bit more analytics, and then he gave a really vague answer. So I followed up and was like, "What do you mean?" And he said he used GPS tracking as an example instead of like raw 40s. And to your point you just made, a kid like Mustafa is probably a good example. Like, yeah, in the underwear Olympics, he might not light it up, but that adrenaline gets flowing. He turned up on game day. He's moving. We see guys look like that quite often. Cam Chancellor tested poorly. Quandre Diggs tested poorly because they're just not underwear stars. They're ball players, right? That's what it is. The GPS thing I really like too, because I want to know who's bringing it close to their top speed in the fourth quarter. Like if you just run once, you can of course run your fast. You ain't ran all day. Of course you can run a 4.3, 4, whatever. But it's the fourth quarter, and I need you to be able to eliminate that post pattern on 3rd and 7 so we can get our offense the ball and then go win us the game. You got the juice in you. That's what I'm looking for that. So yeah, that's something the GPS tracker would track that of 40 time. Just don't matter. You just woke up and ran. That ain't nothing. Anyway, we're gonna go to my next pick. So far, I feel like I'm doing all right, man. It's a toot my own horn. So in the 4th round, to start that off, I'm going with, I love this kid too, man. Does he have the same name as the other kid I just took? He sure do. Malik Washington, receiver out of Virginia. 2 dudes named Malik. I ain't put that together till now. So you mentioned D. Eskridge. So the skill set that D. Eskridge in theory has, not in theory, he has it. Like, it is valuable. He's like a slot dude, gadgety dude, but he's thick. Like, D. Eskridge is not like one of these scrawny slot dudes. He's a really compact, buff, strong dude. He reminds me of Percy Harvin in that sense, because Percy would run through some cats and bounce off guys. He had really good contact balance. Malik, he reminds me of that as well. Like, he lit it up at Virginia, but I'm not really too caught up on the production as much as how the production looked. He can separate from guys. He's tough at the catch point. And if you put the ball in his hands, that first guy is probably not going to just knock him down, right? Like, remember, Chris, we were kind of critical of Jackson Smith and Jigba to start his rookie year because he wasn't making nobody miss. Guys are just getting right to him, tackling him. They play against the Giants, stands out. They run like a little bubble screen. Safety comes. First dude drops him for like a gain of 2. Come on, can't have that. I don't think that happens with a guy like Malik. I think you put the ball in his hand, and that first dude, if he does get him on the ground, like he catching a little shoulder to the face or something on the way. Just a really tough dude. Short guy, 5'8", 191. But I mean, yeah, he's built, man. 4.4 speed. Probably another one of those dudes who will probably run a lot faster or look a lot faster, on a GPS tracker or whatever. Although 4.47 ain't slow. But I think if the skills that they want from D is like vertical stretch guy, but also like horizontal gadget guy who could also be kickoff guy, just take this dude. It's the same thing. You're getting the same skill set. I think, at least. It's pretty good kick returner as well. Like I said, real tough at the catch point. I like that too. I get a little weary of that with some of the slot guys when they're too scrawny. It's like, because if you are going to make catches over the middle, the dudes who are hitting you aren't going to be scrawny dudes. They're going to be dudes like Mustafa. They're going to be linebackers, so I need you to be tough at the catch point. Malik, definitely that. I like that. So And I'm not afraid of taking receivers in this class. I think if a class is deep with something, in the back end is where you can take advantage of that. So in a deep receiver class, go ahead. Pick up a receiver. Oh yeah, I'm killing this thing. I gotta pat myself on the back here. I'm killing. All right. So now we got another pick from the 49ers, fourth round 4, 124. Chris, I think this is I'm surprised you didn't have him.
Well, that's the thing. So when you took him, I was like, I can't copy. I wanted to make that was the one pick that I did. I honestly changed now that you brought it up because I was like, I don't want to have the same pick as Mike. I just don't
come on. Well, okay. At least we're in agreement then.
I just didn't want to do that because it was very easy. We're big on this kid.
Yeah, T'Vondre Sweat, kid from Texas, nose tackle, 366, 367 pounds or whatever. I mean, that's just a big dude. A big dude who can move though. Like I don't just need fat dudes for the sake of being fat. I need you to be able to move. That's why I loved Al Woods. I loved watching Al Woods film and tweeting Al Woods clips because that dude could move. One of the pictures in the VMAC was Chris. So there's a famous picture of Doug Baldwin, and it's him like spread out full, like horizontal, making a one-handed grab. Are you familiar with that one?
Yes.
Okay. Al Woods, there was a picture of him in the facility in that same position, like full, like planking in the air at 360 pounds. Just absurd athleticism on that kid. I don't know if T'Vondre has that necessarily, but I see the potential there in his ability to just not just be big and stagnant. If you're big and can move, oh yeah, sign me up for that. Because it's one thing to just be like a guy who just clogged lanes or whatever, but it's like, no, dude, I need you to have some athleticism to you as well. And I think he got a DWI. I know he got arrested for DWI. I don't have all the particulars in front of me. He met with the Seahawks after, so I'm assuming if they take him, they heard what they needed to hear, and they're not too worried that he's going to get drunk and just go keep driving around Seattle or whatever. You would hope he doesn't. I have no idea. Never met the kid. This is a mock draft. It's not real. But I'm not too worried about that. Obviously, if it's like a big deal, if they do some research, find out this guy's like a huge Evan Williams drinker, then yeah, don't draft him. But if you feel good about his character and his decision making, I love the idea of finding another. As you can see, I'm comping some of these dudes to people you guys have watched play. Big Al. Think Big Al, athletic, taking up space. Yeah, sign me up for that. I don't know if he'll fall to the 4th round. That was the only other thing I was not super sure about because you never really know when someone gets arrested during the pre-draft process. How far are they going to fall? You know, was Jalen Carter going to fall further last year if his agent Drew Rosenhaus didn't basically like call all the teams and be like, hey, would you take him? Oh, you would, Philly? All right, cool. Hey, Jalen, you ain't dropping further than 10, buddy. You just made that call. You know, I don't know. Does T'Vondre's agent do that too? Be like, hey, look, we ain't get called a team who's got the last pick in the 3rd round and be like, hey, are you about to take him? Would you take him? You would? All right, cool. Day 2, buddy. Throw the draft party on Friday. I don't know. We'll have to see. But if he does get to the 4th round, if pick 102, 124, wherever, honestly, even if they pick like real late on the 3rd, yeah. Sign me up for the big space eater who also has athleticism as well. He just needs to put the bottle down, stop taking shots, and driving. What else we got? What's my next pick? I see this because this is where I got to the part where I was like, all right, I'm with you on the let's just see if these guys can make the team train. This dude, when I was reading some of his particulars to you before we recorded, I could see you were seeing the vision here. Let me see if I can get this guy's name right. We're at what pick are we at? Pick 176 was a pick we got from the 49ers, the last pick in the 5th round. Isaac Gerendo, running back out of Louisville, 6 foot, 221. That's a pretty big cat. For reference, that's about as big as like Rashad Penny was at his pro day and stuff. So you guys can see Rashad, pretty filled out dude, right? Rashad, as you guys have seen, great breakaway speed, right? Rashad can take in the open field. He's a goner. Rashad ran 4.4. Chris, this kid, 4.33. Now I downplayed the 40 times talking about whoever else just earlier, and that's fair. Like, I can't use it in my favor when it works, and then poo-poo on it when it doesn't. However, when you watch this kid, and you're like, oh, he looked like a dude that's fast. he didn't get a lot of starts at Louisville, and he had some injury history and bounced around. I think he was at Wisconsin beforehand. He's another older guy. I think he'll be 24 as a rookie. With the running backs, I'm not too concerned about the age thing, just because I probably only want you for your rookie deal anyway. I'm not like projecting that I get you as young as possible so I can pay you and you're 26 when I give you the new deal versus 28. I don't think you're going to give him the new deal anyway. So you just max out the rookie contract and you go from there. For example, I think Ken Walker got drafted and he was like 21 years old. That's cool. That's fine. But I honestly don't think that matters much because once it's time to pay him, probably shouldn't do it. Whether he's 24, 25, don't matter. But anyway, back to my man Isaac. Yeah, I love the breakaway speed there. That's when I'm looking for running backs, I want them to have like some elite trait, whether you're like really a physical guy, like, you know, run through a brick wall type, whether you're like super shifty, like Ken Walker, someone like that, or the other one is, yo, if I get you in the open space, can you house call it? And if that's the answer, if any of those three are the answer, sign me up. This kid in particular, yeah, I can see that potential. And Chris, quiet as this kid, Seattle running back room ain't fast. Not that fast.
That's just Ken.
Yeah, Ken ran 4.38. Ken can fly. And you can see that on film. You can see that in the underwear Olympics, like he did. But like Charbonnet ran like 4.5, I want to say. Like Charbonnet wasn't very fast. Even Kenny McIntosh, not a very fast kid. Zach ran 4.53, which is like, okay, he's 214 pounds. But Zach's thing is that he has really soft hands and he has really good contact balance. So when the first guy hits Zach Charbonnet, well, he ain't going down. But this, my man Gerendo, he can just fly. He might just take the angle and take one to the house. Yeah, Kenny McIntosh ran 4.62. Yuck. Yeah, so not a lot of speed in the running back room. Those guys bring other stuff, but I need some speed in there. And this potential kick returning. You asked me about the rule. I'm still a big never kick, but if you're going to put a guy back there, I need him to be able to fly.
I'll tell you right now, the one team that everybody should be worried about is Miami freaking Dolphins. They're about to draw some crazy stuff up. I feel like they're going to score an average of 2 touchdowns per game just on the kickoff alone.
2 touchdowns would be crazy, but I see the vision. Yeah,
Tyreek Hill.
Not even what's the running back they have is the real dangerous dude. What's his name?
They have 3 dudes that could do it potentially. A chain.
A-Chain. Devon A-Chain.
Yeah, Devon, yeah.
I think he's a 4.2 guy. Oh, man.
They got 3 dudes that they could say, you want to return some kicks for us? You know, the new rule allows you just to do your thing. But go ahead, Mike.
No, yeah, which I do think, I know I poo-pooed the rule change. I do think special teams value, like that does matter here. Because if you get a game changer there, it's just huge for your team, you know? And the Seahawks have seen that. Whether they've seen like what not having game changers looks like, which is what they basically had for the past few years. And then they've seen game changers. They've seen a Leon Washington. They've seen some man name in the Super Bowl, Percy Harvin. They see even Tyler Lockett when he got in. Like, look how much of a game changer Tyler Lockett was as a rookie. First time he touched a rock in a regular season game, I think he housed one against the Rams. Like, it definitely, if you can find a guy who can do it at a high level, I do think it has value. Whether it's the new rule, the old rules, I don't really care. But just when you have that long speed, special stuff. So that's really what I'm thinking. The running back room is talented, so I don't think my man Gerendo is necessarily going to start. But, you know, running backs get beat up, all that good stuff.
He's available.
If you're not going to pay the guys ahead of him, eventually he starts, right? You know, that's kind of how it works. Let's see. Who else we got? Are we in the 6th round now? Yes. All right. You guys know I was not going to go through this whole thing without getting a Coug in there. Kidding me? Got to. I couldn't get Jaden Hicks, but I got my man Brandon Jackson, edge rusher, outside linebacker from Washington State. Brandon Jackson's scouting report, if you just were to read it and not watch him, you would think he's a white guy. Because it's so much about effort and energy and hustle. Like, that really is his thing. Like, he's a motor guy. It's very Max Crosby-ish. Look at me comparing him to a white guy. But, like, he just is nonstop. That's the thing. Like, Brennan, he doesn't, like, have – he's got good hand usage, but he's not a guy who I would say is got, like, a superstar, like, go-to move. If he did, he'd probably get drafted higher. But, like, you know, some guys just have that. They have, like, a long arm. They're speedy, like that Chop Robinson dude from Penn State. He can fly off the ball. He's just going to fly right by you. Some guys have great get off. Some guys are super powerful, like Chenna is like really, really powerful and good with his hands. Brennan doesn't necessarily have one of those that I think is going to translate. Where it's going to help him probably is just pursuit. He's going to be able to just pursue. Oh, I lost this after my first move. Well, here's my second move. Oh, the quarterback scrambled. Okay, let me find it. Bang, bang, bang. He was really productive at Wazoo. And we had a good D-line, too. We sucked at a lot of stuff at Wazoo. But one thing we was getting to that quarterback. Brennan had 12 and a half sacks last year, 12 before that. 12 and a half tackles for loss, 12 before that, 8.5 sacks last year, and the 6 before that. Always around the ball. I think he had like 3 touchdowns on defense last year. He was baller. Another guy who's older, though, so that is the knock. I'll be consistent on that. I think he'll be 24 in October. So you would like to see him contribute right away. Don't want a ton of time for growth. Dude ain't like 21, right? So a lot of tread on the tires already. I would like an older prospect to have a little bit more refined pass rush package, but it's fine. We in the 6th round, like Chris said. Just want to do is to make the team at this point, you know. And if they're Cougs, you know, more the merrier. No, I didn't have no Huskies in here. I thought about it though. I thought about trading the pick 20 and taking Feltani. I thought about it. And Jalen Polk. This is a pro Jalen Polk podcast. Probably the only pro Husky thing we're gonna be ever. But yeah, Brennan in the 6th round. Oh yeah, he's another guy I think is gonna shine in the preseason wherever he goes, just because he's relentless. He's just gonna be able to just second, third efforts. He's just always around the ball. Some guys are just like that. Some guys are just natural playmakers and get around the ball. Spoon is like that. Spoon's gonna be around the ball for his whole career. That's just kind of how it is. How many picks I got left? I got 1 pick left. Oh yeah, that's it. All right, last pick 235 in the 7th round. Anybody still watching the draft at this point? You're a sicko, but I love you. You're a sicko. I got Daquan Hardy, cornerback at Penn State. He's about as heavy as me and Chris. 5'9", 179. That is a light brother. But I like this dude's confidence with the ball in the air. As you guys can see, I usually like one trait that really just stands out to me with this dude, ball skills. I think he had a crazy vertical too, something 40 plus vert, real comfortable with the ball in the air, slot guy, kind of small. So I don't know if he'd be like an early down guy per se. Yeah, 5'9", 179, probably hard to defend the run at that, but Chris, a dude who could fly, 4.38. I like it. And it shows up too though when you watch him. I can't remember if he had a defensive touchdown last year or not, but oh yeah, he did. He returns punts. Yeah, he had a couple punt return touchdowns. That's what it was. So he had a pick 6 in college as well, returned some punts. So again, we're talking special teams. You guys can see a theme here. I'm big on the guys who can fly and also be special with the ball in their hands. Because Chris, who would be the starting kickoff returner for Seattle right now?
So based on the new kickoff rule, I honestly think Ken Walker could really shine. To be honest.
Ooh, I would love that. They're probably gonna put like Chenault back there and like Eskridge, but
That's what my guess is. But if I need someone to make, like, if we need a touchdown, like 3rd quarter, we need a touchdown because the offense stinks for whatever reason. Hey Ken, you trying to get back there real quick, bro? And we'll put DK and Charles Cross on the left side. They pull or something, and you just hit that hole. What do you say? Cool.
yeah. But see, I like if not, I'm with you on that. I like Daquan back there too. Speedy dude, good ball tracking. It doesn't surprise me that he's good at ball tracking as well. I don't know if it translated to a ton of production. Oh yeah, 9 PBUs last year, so pretty good. 5 the year before that, so he has it. But when I was watching him, I was like, he probably returns punts. And then what do you know? He returns punts. I can tell because Tyler Lockett has kind of put me up on game with some of the guys who can track the ball really well. Punt returning is how they get the reps. When I asked Tyler about how he tracks the ball so well, he says, I asked did he play baseball? Like, was he a center fielder or something? I think the answer was no. But what he said was important was, it's like when I return punts, there's people surrounding you. You're the ball's high up in the air, and like you got to make split-second decisions. You got to track it. You're on the move. He was like, returning punts, is really helpful to like get reps with tracking the ball. So when I saw Daquan doing it, or Daquan, however you pronounce that. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't say. Dane doesn't have it in there. He just assumes we know how to pronounce Daquan. It's all good. But when I seen him, when I'm watching, I'm like, oh, okay, this dude probably returns punts. You can kind of see it with the guys who are like natural. Another example, Quandre Diggs has returned punts before. Looks natural tracking the ball. Didn't play baseball, I don't think. I think his other sport was track, but you can just kind of see it with the guys who naturally have it. And for the corners, slot guys, or actually all corners, I'm really looking for that. Yeah, again, the size here worries me a little bit. If you're going to play nickel in the NFL, you're going to have to stop some runs. I don't know how well somebody doing that at 179, unless they're like Spoon, but that's cool. The Seahawks got a kitchen. You can get 3 meals a day. Bulk up, brother. You'll be straight. And it's the 7th round. I just need you to make the team. I think, yeah, that was my last pick. Let me run that down real quick. So I made some trades. I got Graham Barton, guard from Duke, Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker from A&M, Malik Mustafa, safety from Wake Forest, Malik Washington, receiver from Virginia, Tavondre Sweat, nose tackle from Texas, Isaac Girendo, running back from Louisville, Brendan Jackson, edge rusher from Washington State, and Daquan Hardy, cornerback from Penn State. Oh, yeah, we locked in. John, all day I've been pretending that you've been asking me for advice. Yo, yeah. Just get one of those dudes and I'll be okay. One dude, if I predict one per year, I feel okay. I don't remember if I got any last year, but I feel good about it. This year. There's some winners in that mock.
Oh, I hear you, man. I hope I get at least one. It's been a few years. I think, like I said, the last one I got was Will Disley. And I was like, what? Say that
was last
again.
one? 2018? You didn't get any before or after that?
Well, to be honest, I think with COVID, I don't know if he even did a mock draft, to be honest with you. I think I have to go back and look and see when we did the last mock draft. Because I know with everything going on during the world supposedly ending, we really just, but anywho,
the world
I do remember
it did
getting
seem like it was ending. You're right. I watched Dawn of the Dead last night in the middle of the night, and I was like, this looks a lot like COVID. It really did. I was thinking about that. I was watching it like 2 a.m. I love that movie for some reason. It's a terrible movie, but I love it.
What?
Yeah.
You have we argue a lot about movies, and that's one movie that I'm not letting you get off this pod by saying it's terrible. That's a great zombie film.
Great is tough.
It's not tough. It's one of the best.
No, it's there's just no human interest in it. Like I need to feel something from some of the main characters. And
no, you don't. It's death. Ain't nothing to feel, Mike.
You have to mix them both because you get nothing from the zombies, obviously, because they don't talk. There's no real emotion tied to them. So if that's the case, I need something from the people who are avoiding the zombies. You know what's a good example of that? Another zombie movie I like is World War Z.
Like that was a really good one too.
That's a good one. I think it's Brad Pitt, I think. Like you really feel, you get emotionally attached to his character and you know his pursuit of solving the crisis and like to get his family back. You know, and Dawn of the Dead, you don't get none of that. You just get the jerk dude with the boat. You get Vin Rames talking slow and being the angry black dude. You get the dude on the gun store playing chess with Vin Rames from across the street. So
that was a great little story of relationship. There you go, right there, Mike.
Nah, that was terrible, man. It wasn't enough. Like World War Z is a better example. So that's why I call Dawn of the Dead a bad movie. But I watch it, so it doesn't matter if it's bad or good because I keep watching it. So it's fine. I don't know how we got there.
Well, you mentioned I don't know how we got there either, but
COVID. You mentioned COVID. That's right. Yeah.
Yes, my last zombie movie that I love is Army of the Dead. That's my last one.
I don't think I see
with
that one in Vegas.
Yeah, I love that one. That one's really good.
I don't think I watched the trailer. I was like, I'm good. I'm all right.
You want to talk about a story? You really would connect, Mike. Oh my goodness, they lock down on stories.
I definitely need. I can't just watch. That's like
what
2 hours of just action. I need to feel
not in this one. No. It's 2 hours, but the first 30 minutes is a story element. Oh, I love Batista. Who would have thought? I love a 6'6" dude that weighs 275 pounds. I get what you're doing, bud. Maybe Michael poo-poo that movie, but who knows?
I give that a shot. But yeah, generally speaking, if your movie is just like a bunch of just senseless action, I'm not really feeling that.
I'm not sold.
Movies are too long for that. I'm not sitting still for all that. I gotta feel something. You know, that's all. I don't know how. Yeah, we can move on. But
It's all good. Well, hey, this has been our 2024 mock draft. I gave mine. Mike gave his. Will any of us get them right? What did we
I'm
get?
gonna get one guy right.
We got 19 picks in, if my math serves me right. Ooh,
You know,
I
I
don't
don't
even
do
know.
math on the show.
So let's just say it's 18, 9-9. I don't know what it was. I don't feel like counting. It is what it is. We got the picks in. Let's see if we can at least get one. Mike is confident he's going to get at least one. I'm hoping I get one. So there you have it. It's been another episode of Seahawks Man to Man. We want to thank each and every one of you for sticking around and watching this show or listening. We appreciate all the love and support. Again, if you are listening and you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go on and hop over and subscribe to Seahawks Man to Man. Again, we have footage of some of these athletes, so I know sometimes you get tired of looking at us handsome fellas. We added some content and some studs, so go check it out. It's free. Subscribe. Seahawks Man to Man. We will catch you guys later after the draft, because what more could you ask for, right? We're getting ready for another season of NFL football. Mike, is there anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Appreciate the love and support on YouTube, on audio. Yeah, excited for the draft. We'll catch you guys after the weekend. Peace.